Hey y'all, thanks so much for joining. I'm Joe Peterson. I am the CIO of Clarify 360. I'm the Chief Analyst for ClearTech Research, and we're here today with ClearTech Loop. We're on the move and in the know. We're here with Maybelyn Plecic, Manager of Training and Adoption at Network to Code. Hi, Maybelyn.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm definitely been a tech person for a long time. CISO certified, AWS Cloud, many certifications. But what matters to me, I feel like, it's the experience and how you tell the story. That's more important than anything.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for joining today. So in case you're not following Maybelyn, you should be. As she mentioned, she is a CISSP and she specializes in helping enterprises strengthen their security posture. She drives compliance initiatives and she navigates complex security audits. Probably more fun than she should be having, really, truly. She empowers teams and organizations to achieve their highest communication security, data protection, and regulatory compliance standards while eliminating waste and maximizing value delivery. She's a distinguished engineer in technical enablement and a servant leader. So I'm happy to have her here today.
Well, thank you for having me. Excited.
And as you guys know, we ask 3 of the moment questions around AI security. So I'm going to just start in right with those with Maybelyn. First one, give me your thinking around shadow AI. Is it an IT problem, a security problem, both, neither? And second part of the question, how are CISOs and CIOs addressing shadow AI in their environments?
Awesome. Well, thank you for that question. And such a very vital question to be answered, especially on the leadership side, right? I think it's an issue on both sides, organizationally, especially. Many are always looking for the best outcome, right? On the business side. We can have the best technical requirements and meet it, deliver it. But if we're not answering business questions such as, one, is it secure, private? Do we have governance? Are we able to sustain anything? Efficiency, effectiveness, that's not going to satisfy any business, right? And shadow IT, it's really a partnership. I believe that trust is where it needs to start. There needs to be an openness to be curious, to have the collaborative conversations, not penalize people because they're trying. Right now, they're very challenged on upskilling fast. AI is developing fast, whether we choose it or not. And it's too easy to access. And I feel like that is a challenge in general for most, because what system is going to be able to track how quickly it develops? It's developing in what, milliseconds? Mm-hmm. We have many versions between Claude, between ChatGPT, any other AI, Copilot, you name it. They're moving faster than we can think or imagine, for that matter. How do you plan to mitigate and create protections when we don't think and move that fast? And this is going to take a lot of partnerships on POC, proof of concept. I believe that there needs to be sandboxes that are allowed, like actual development places that you can protect and set guidelines, and don't just make statements or general statements, right? We need actual concrete guidance that we can follow. We can over-document, but who implements it? That's always the question, right? I mean, we've gone through that route of audits. And how many actually comply? Are we documenting just for the sake of documenting?
Yeah.
Or are we actually going to do something about it and say, all right, because you've done this, you created this behavior or this process, someone's going to go behind and actually audit that. And even if we had AI do all that work, who's going to go and audit it as a person? We're all going to be responsible for a lot of data. We're going to be responsible for a lot of things happening fast. And I feel like there's a dilemma and there's a gap in how fast we can decide based on the current information that we're being provided. And even the firewalls that we built, it's going to have to evolve quickly to anticipate. I can't imagine how malicious actors are taking advantage of this, right? Between the deepfake videos out there, it's very disturbing that you can't even tell an AI video generated now. There's no tagging or signatures to figure out. And we've had those conversations, Joe, you know this.
That's why I'm laughing. I put up a cat video. You guys, if you follow me, you know I put up stupid cat videos with security. And Maybelyn and I connected over my stupid cat videos. Like, it's been a while now, but I put one out and I didn't know it was AI.
Yeah.
And we got blowback. Poor Maybelline said something about it, and she got blowback for, contributing to AI slop. And I'm like, oh my heavens, I apologize to her because I didn't know it was AI.
No, it's very understandable because it's not required, right? I mean, it's actually interesting to me because I'm also a blogger. I write different documentations, and typically you need to credit the image, whether it's free or not, right? And I feel that if you're creating AI video of anything or even image or content, you should credit and say, yeah, this is AI generated, right? I think that's a pretty standard thing, but I think that there's innocently, whether they intended or not, but many people are not realizing how much of an implication it has, right? That those videos or memes or images can create a narrative that they might not intend to, right? And I feel like that's another education that we need to build. Security is on the umbrella is very broad, right? Especially AI. And I feel that the concerns that we have, we can only solve to a certain point, but we also need policies in here. It can't be just done on the software, on the organizational level, on the local level. We need actual regulatory things that will actually ensure that we implement and follow the compliant regulations. And if they don't understand AI, how are they going to build good policies? That's my question.
That's a fair, and you said a couple of things that, really resonated with me. One, before we even started recording, you said something to me and I thought, oh my gosh, that's just, our language is developing around AI. And what I mean by that is 25 years ago, nobody used the term Googling, but now we use the term Googling because we look up something. And you said that your husband says that you're always clodding.
Yeah.
That is going to become a term. You know that, right? He probably just coined a term, didn't know it. You're clodding.
Yeah, that is it. And I'm trying to control the time I spend on things because it is very, very addictive, sadly, right? Yeah. Because you're seeing how well, imagine a workflow, something you've been trying to get done for years, and you do this in one weekend. That's how efficient it is. So who will not be tempted to want to be effective, efficient, especially when KPIs for workers is efficiency, effectiveness, right? This is more accurate than a human being on documentation, unfortunately. And there's no misspelling, right? I've been looking at it for anyone who's OCD about spelling. You look at the screen, you're troubleshooting and no misspelling.
I know. It's crazy. It is. But you also said something that gives me a little bit of hope because you hit on something that, so I'm a glass half full girl. I'm an optimist, right? And I get the feeling you are too.
Yes.
I'm feeling that AI is an opportunity for the IT executives to, because we tend to build silos, right? The security folks sit over here and the IT folks sit over here. And what's happening, I think, with AI is that these groups in companies where they didn't talk before, because there are groups that do talk, right? But they're coming together because they have to talk about this problem, because it takes both of their mindsets and their skills to come and talk about this.
Agreed 100%. If anything, even my boss today, right? It only took a month for me to build 9 applications, right? Very quickly. Did not take that long, but I'll caveat it that the reason why I was able to do that is because I was always strategic to begin with. That I had an understanding of many systems that integrate, right? And I knew what the outcome specifically, business-wise, we were looking for. Because just like any developer, you can code all you want, but if you don't know what you're coding for, what use cases you're matching, it's a useless application, right? And the part that I've learned so far, I feel like I'm a product owner now because I have a constant backlog now of feature requests, and all our meetings now have become feature request conversations. Okay, so all day long, I'm like prioritizing. Okay, what's next? We have a separate channel just for automation requests, right? And it's been fun, if anything. Like you said, glass half full. I encourage everyone to have actual great conversations better now, I feel like, because the mundane stuff, the boring stuff that we never wanted to look at, AI is great at consuming large data. That's what it's for, right? It's great at picking up patterns that we didn't have time to even think about. So I feel like we need to leverage AI for the boring, mundane automation related stuff. And this also, I feel like source of truth has been a problem. Like Apple, great data that's actually
for sure.
we have issues with garbage in and garbage out.
For sure.
What since we've done this, we're actually finding out all those gaps and fixing them, resolving them. We're like, oh,
we have to. We can't kick the can down the road anymore.
no.
Like, come on. For years, we would just, oh, that data's over there. Oh, that data's over here, and now it matters.
It matters more, even more so now.
Yeah.
I feel that for CISO, I think they have a different. I think the conversations are transforming differently. I feel like because of AI, now they have even more visibility. Now they can ask more strategic questions. Before, it was very operational, just trying to breathe, address a fire. Now you can kind of compartmentalize a little bit better. You can create a better roadmap because you're finding, oh, we're weak here. We have strengths here. Now, how do we collaborate better with IT, with business folks, the board, our go-to-market teams, our training or our adoptions, anyone else, typical people that felt uncomfortable discussing their workflows, because we can conversate more in a business that they can understand. You're like, oh, I can see it now. I mean, imagine when you're trying to get business requirements or product requirements, you can't imagine something that you're just talking out just abstractly. To me, it's better to do show and tell. Now, if I can do a requirement very quickly based on what I capture, build it out, show it to them, they can give you better constructive, continuous feedback.
Right, exactly. And engineers are visual learners. Let's just face it. We are visual learners. So let me ask you another question. As a CISSP, because I just am fascinated by NHIs. I don't know about you, but I'm just fascinated by them. And I'm fascinated with like these super agents creating other agents and permissions. And okay, as you think about NHIs and you think about enabling them, what are a couple things that you think are super important to consider?
I think language is important, right? The terminologies that we use. We can easily misconstrue terminologies, whether technical or business. Plain simple language sometimes. Basic terminologies on how we use it is more important than models or acronyms. It drives me crazy when people mention acronyms and they're like, you're assuming everyone knows, whether it's a business or technical, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you have to have a common language, common perspective.
Yeah, that's good.
How is your day-to-day? I mean, I've done adoption conversations in the past and I really just asked simple things. I was like, hey, what is your typical day-to-day? Right? What do you do? And then they just describe everything they do. I say, hey, I come in from work, check in, I check this, I set up my presentation, I need to connect this, I have to log in, get someone else to take care of my calendar. Those little conversations, we take it for granted, but those are all potential security questions, access questions, efficiencies, troubleshooting, right? Now, same case with AI, right? Now, it starts out with a friendly client, but simple things like not tracking the history, right? Are you making sure you're not training the AI? I think that we need to do the basic walkthrough of onboarding anyone for that matter, right? Because they can just take the default. And if you're not monitoring well, every provider that pushes AI, they could be technically capturing things they shouldn't, right? Even I'm seeing prompt injection is another way from what I'm seeing that are being used to try to remind people on how not to pass information that they shouldn't. But even then, it's a very delicate balance of, are you inconveniencing someone?
Yes.
To force them to do shadow AI, right?
Yeah.
Or are you going to enable them from the start and say, hey, I understand everyone's curious, interested, and they want to all save time, whatever it is. A lot of demos, lunch and learns need to happen. You can't do e-learning necessarily because nobody has time to sit for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Okay, if you get 5 minutes, even on a meeting, right? Especially for C-levels, you got them, they're out of your ear already if you didn't make it interesting. I think now what we have to do better is storytelling. visual storytelling, hands-on, a lot more hands-on, like live hands-on.
Yeah.
I do that even for my onboarding for new employees that we have. And I say, hey, here's a few slides. Here's a quick link. All your links available. But guess what? We're doing this hands-on together.
Because you get their attention. That's such a good point, because you hold their attention in that moment, right? And you're imparting something that's really important. And I like that. That's an interesting way to kind of think about the problem.
Yeah.
Let me ask you our last question. When you hear the term AI defense, what comes to mind for you?
I know by default it's some type of software, right? But I feel like it's more of mindset. The AI defense to me is all the due diligence, the communication itself, right? Are you upfront with your policies? Are you ensuring that they don't, I mean, how do you expect someone to be compliant if they don't even know the rules, right? And then second, is it easy for people to follow? If the policy or instructions or process is so nuanced, there's too much of a hassle to follow, they're not going to follow it at all.
No.
Especially our less technical people.
Correct.
Usually it's a very innocent thing. Most people, it's not on purpose. I feel like I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. That most of them have good intent, right? We have to start with that too. We cannot go in the route of judging people from the get-go and penalizing people. If anything, we need to see how they work. Just like that conversation I mentioned earlier. How do they typically work?
Yeah.
You need to see how they function. Whether you have to shadow them, just like shadow IT, watch what they do, right? And see if there's little things that might be optimal for them that they didn't realize. That's usually how many people do you know even know how to use formulas for Excel or any of the spreadsheets?
True. I mean, right? You and you bring up such an important point, because you know the marketing folks are all over AI, right? But the accounting folks maybe not so much. So different people in the organization have different skill sets already as it relates to AI.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point there. Actually, every person I talk to in a different way to match their need, right? Whether it's my operations person that I'm talking to that builds decks for our C-levels, right? They're building presentations, Google or PowerPoint. That's a different conversation. Customer success is a different conversation when it comes to customer health.
Right.
Talk to our sales or go-to-market is a different conversation. And you have to keep it simple, right? Very simple, just to what it is that they typically reach out for people that they can do themselves. How do you self-serve? And we need to do the same thing for shadow IT. We need to create ways to make it self-serve so that IT is not bogged down with so many tickets, and then they have to deal with all the audits and security flags that they might have to deal with that could have been prevented if you decided from the get-go that you're embracing it. So I feel like it's a top-down decision to make. I feel that whoever's at the top, every leadership role from the top down has to make a conscious decision to align on what that messaging is supposed to be so that everyone else can follow. If you start from the bottom up, it's gonna defeat it. It's not gonna be feasible in the long term.
Right. Well, such a lovely conversation with you. Thank you for taking the time to visit. Have to have you come back.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear what you think about MCP servers. So that's a conversation for another day.
Yes.
You've been lovely, guys. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll catch you next time.
Awesome. Take care.